What's going on, everybody? What's going on? Welcome to Buckeye BS on the best damn media network. How y'all doing, fellas?
What going on?
Hanging tough, man. Hanging tough.
Well,
Yeah,
chit chat
everybody.
today.
Yeah, man,
What up?
everybody. We were almost late because Mike, he showed up last minute, man. I had to call him. I was like, Mike, man, what are you doing? We gotta get to the show, man. The
This
people
being there,
No, we're gonna take a
man.
look behind the curtain. Our pre-production meeting starts at 9, which means everyone shows up at 9:30. I called Q at 9:50 as we were scheduled to start at 10, and he said, "I need 5 minutes."
Light
So-
skinned people time, man.
Yeah,
technical
man.
difficulty.
He's on a different clock than us right now.
That's just what I saw. Y'all believe what you want to believe, but you know it's good. But yeah,
Can smell the liquor from here, man.
I don't drink.
He said,
Nah,
I don't drink.
You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man. So today we're gonna get into a little Urban versus Ryan Day talk. It's
Ooh.
No. It ain't versus. It's,
I mean,
we're not pitting them together.
Yeah,
we're
we
just
can't
trying
pin
to-
them together.
I mean,
We're trying to, you
saying
know.
that,
Let's
like-
talk about the transition. Man.
Yeah,
Because
I mean,
a lot of
yeah,
people,
right.
a lot of people have been saying that Ryan Day was handed some type of Ferrari and all of this, and I think that we need to
Born
get into
on
the
third
details.
base.
Yeah, I think we need to get into the details.
It was more
of
like
this.
a Lincoln MKZ, you know?
What? Not even.
Yeah,
No,
like a.
It's not bad.
Not even.
I used to love the Lincoln
Not a
MKZ.
Ferrari.
It wasn't a Ferrari. It wasn't even a Lincoln either. Not an MKZ. Maybe an old school.
All right, Q, get us into it.
Yes, we gonna jump into that. So I do want to ask: does anybody think he was not No, does anybody think he was actually handed a Ferrari?
No.
About it. Oh man, I was gonna have somebody to ask somebody.
No, not nobody in here.
I'm a defend it then, since y'all all want to be politically correct, right? You know what I'm saying, bro? Urban was out here recruiting at like a top 3 level. You know what I'm saying? Talking talent on talent, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, that's all I got. So yeah, let's
I was
go.
about to say. I was about to say. In what years? Because I think that stopped after the 2017 class.
I mean, we got the
So
classes
actually,
split up, so-
Cam went through this list when we first got on the show, and it is the number 2 recruiting class from the 2018 year. So Urban's last year, the last class to sign to Urban. And since Q brought up
2019 is the last.
2019.
but let's look at the 2018 class too, because it was a number 2 class. But when you look at it, was it a little bit of fool's gold? So I think that would be a great place to start, since everyone likes to say he was born on third base, he was handed a Ferrari. Let's look at that 2018 class. That was the number 2 class in the country. You have NPF, you have Teron Vincent, Tyreek Johnson, Jalen Gill, Tyreek Smith, Jeremy Ruckert, Taraja Mitchell, Tommy Togiai. We're not even out of the top 50 players yet in the country. Matt Jones is still on the roster. Josh Proctor still on the roster. Cameron Babb
Didn't play a snap.
graduated, only caught 1 touchdown.
Medically,
you know what I mean? Yeah. He had his issues. Brian Sneed, we know
Who?
that story. Tyler Friday, Max Ray, LaChristian Smith, Dallas Gant, we know what happened there. Antoine Jackson, Kayvon Pope, know what happened there. JJB, he's at Notre Dame. Seven Banks, left for LSU. Master Teague, gone. Cameron Brown, undrafted. You know what I mean? Chris Olave, the star of that.
Hold on.
class.
He's
That's how far we
a
had to get.
300 ranked wide receiver. He's a national 300.
400 overall, 399 nationally. Chris Olave. So and then Marcus Hooker. We know how that went. So like you look at that class, and what are we talking about? You know what I mean? MPF, Chris Olave, and then a bunch of contributors, but we don't. I mean, the people that you expected to be the biggest stars in your class didn't, and we hit on Chris Olave, the 400 player in the class. So, I mean, this handed a Ferrari. Yeah, the players were there, some of them, but I mean, was that class really what it was on paper originally?
Hey Cam, hold on. Can you and to really emphasize on what you're saying, you gotta follow with the 2019 commit. And
so let's
emphasize
look at
that there's only 17
class.
players in his class, mind you. Only 17 going into
and majority, most of this class from 2019, when they committed to Urban Meyer.
So the composite rank for this class was 14, with only 17 kids in the class, headlined by 5-star Zach Harrison and 5-star Garrett Wilson. And then there was a third 5-star in that class, Harry Miller. We all know that story. Harry medically retired from the sport of football. Jamison Williams transferred out. We have Kate Stover, Ronnie Hickman, Enoch Vamahi, Steele Chambers, Ryan Jacoby. You know what I mean? We did get a Hall of Famer in Tommy Eichenberg, so, I mean, we got to give Ryan Day his due there. Noah Potter, Marcus Crowley.
Noah
Real
Potter
quick on Marcus Crowley.
State.
The funniest highlight tape in the history of Ohio State recruits. This kid had a guy who would record his games, and every time he'd break a long run, would just scream, Crowley! Into the mic. Every single touchdown starts with this old guy screaming Crowley. Bryson Shaw, every Buckeye fan's favorite player. Craig Young, Kansas superstar, and DeJuan Jones, the 3-star of that class. So again, this handed a Ferrari. These aren't Alabama and Georgia type classes that we're talking about here that Ryan Day inherited. So I just want to get your guys' thoughts on, you know what I mean? Did these recruits and did Ryan Day really inherit just a plethora of talent?
No, not at all. He did not hand. I mean, when you talk about Teron Vincent being a 5-star, let's talk about why he was really a 5-star. He was a 5-star because of his dad and what his dad had accomplished. And then he went to IMG, bro. Like, I don't think that Teron Vincent was a freaking 5-star. I never felt that coming out of when he was coming out, which ended up showing. Like, he went undrafted. There's a lot of players. Like, when you talk about the main guys in those classes, Ryan, that you were naming off, most of the guys that made it were offensive guys. I think maybe you name 2 or 3 guys who got drafted on the defensive side of the ball. That does not correlate into national championships at all.
See, now, let me jump in here because one, Teron Vincent being a 5-star because of his dad. That is an elite take right there.
How is it not? How was he a 5-star? Explain to me why he was a 5-star. Explain to me why he was a 5-star.
I'm just saying, bro. It's like, hey, man, this dude ain't that good. But his dad, though. Oh, you're right. Let's knock him up a little.
Why is Arch a 5-star?
I mean, that's a little different. Arch was out there cooking like eighth graders on tape, and then they do no competition. So I mean, you really don't know until you know. I mean,
if you put Lincoln Keenholz and Arch Manning in a race, Lincoln Keenholz would look like Gatlin Bear,
bro.
But anywho, as I was saying, the complaint about Ryan Day for 99% has been his defenses. So is it an odd thing that this defensive talent has fallen off the cliff? Now, if I look back at this 2018 class, all right, I'll give you Teron Vincent. Cool. Tyreek Johnson completely fell apart because he was playing the wrong position. I remember that. And Ryan Day ain't throw his ass back at safety. All right, let me look down again. We got again Tyreek Smith, another talented DN. You could see the talent, but never quite produced it. So a lot of these guys, Taraja Mitchell, playing behind Tough Borland. I mean, he never saw the light of day. So a lot of this job.
But when he did, he was a whole lot of mid. Like we saw that mid. We saw the Oregon game. Later. This dude's a 5-star and got on the field as a junior and was a part of one of the worst run defenses in the history of Ohio State football.
Correction. He was a high 4-star. And he was not the problem with that defense that was god awful. That was not his problem. So what I'm saying is,
yes, he was. That's why he got replaced by Tommy Eichenberg.
This 2018 class is a lot of defensive pieces.
Man, everybody acting like Ryan Day inherited number 6 class the year beforehand with substantial talent on there and having a benefit to take the current college football powerhouse's big board to his new school with a blank check, invested in winning. But that's a different story. I think it's very similar comparisons between the start of Kirby and Ryan Day, because people like to pretend that Georgia was just like this podunk team that just had no players, didn't have top 10 classes. They were just losing, doing all this other shit. When Kirby won his first natty, year 5?
Yeah.
Correct.
In his first year, he didn't have double-digit wins like
Ryan. Didn't he have stacked teams that just couldn't win and was making mistakes in the clutch and blowing leads and doing all that shit? Mm-hmm. They said that he was the next coming of Christ. Why is all this slander on Ryan Day for doing
because
the same
he's not
things?
in the SEC?
Oh, okay. Got it.
That's the only bro. That is honestly the only reason, bro. Like none of this. He was born on third base, or got his job on third base, or inherited this program, or whatever. Like, if you really want to talk about it, let's talk about
a Vandy loss. And I'm not here slandering Kirby. I'm just comparing
about
like the
17 and 18.
Like,
when Ryan Day first came to Ohio State, he came here as a quarterbacks coach, not even an offensive coordinator. It wasn't until late in the season you start hearing Urban Meyer saying, yes, Ryan Day was adding this to our offense and things like that. And then he became the offensive coordinator full time in 2018. And you could see the difference because 2017, the offense was not even fixed remotely. It was not from where it fell off in 2014. And then
he had the handicap of JT Barrett.
Bro, okay. And then Ryan Day also wanted to go a different route with a quarterback, but was vetoed by Urban Meyer. So, I think that when you talking about what he was handed his own offense that he had to come in and rebuild. And then just like Ryan hit on, 2018 was one of our worst run defenses in the history of Ohio State. 2017, you started to see us falling, as Q said last week, start seeing us falling off Mount Everest. And then we just was smacking the bottom of Mount Everest in 2018. Like, come on, guys.
Hold on. No, in 2018, we had one of the worst. It was the passing defense. And that's why Jeff Hafley got a head coaching job that next year, because the same exact players, Jeff Okuda, Jordan Fullers, all of the guys that we had, Damon Arnett's, all those guys that we had that went first round was on that 2018 defense, getting absolutely obliterated in the secondary versus Maryland, giving up 50 balls. And then the next year we hire Jeff Hafley and we go to a top 3 defense, go undefeated and cover every game in conference play, and then go to the playoff as a top 3 defense with the same exact players. That was a Ryan Day hire that once again fixed a problem on the team. So it's like, what is he supposed to do?
When we came up with this topic, we wanted to discuss it from a bunch of different angles, and I think we did a good job starting this off by discussing the third base discussion and looking at the talent that Ryan Day inherited. So I want to move the conversation to just comparing some of the other things that Ryan Day gets criticized for, and just compare it to the things that I don't think that we hear as much with Urban Meyer. And recently we saw a Michigan outlet, they put out Ryan Day's record in big games with similar talent with some flawed numbers, but they did address some games where the 2 Michigan losses, the Oregon loss. But what really doesn't get brought up as some of Urban's bad losses. So I want to hear your guys' opinions on how you feel about some of the bad losses in each of the coaches' careers between Ryan Day and Urban Meyer at Ohio State.
I can go first. When you talk about Ryan Day's bad losses or whatever, it happened to playoff caliber teams, other than, I say Oregon would be his worst one. But that was off of the defense. And that's some things that people need to understand, that first-time head coaches are going to make mistakes. Because Ryan Day is at Ohio State, his mistakes are magnified. But when you talk about Urban Meyer losing to Purdue's and Iowa's and inferior, not just losing, but getting blown out. Like there's no excuse that Ryan Day lost to that team up north, but they made it to the playoffs. Like, No, none of them teams Urban Meyer was facing was going to no playoffs. None of that. They're at their peak. He never played a peak Michigan. Never.
And when they were allegedly peak,
I don't know.
Smacked their ass around.
See, I have a thing about that. I don't know. I feel like Michigan talent-wise is maybe a little bit better than what they normally have been, but like people pretend like when we blew their ass out in 2018, they were a number 4 ranked team in the nation. The playoff committee said that they were the number 4 ranked team in the nation. They had a 5-star quarterback. They had Donovan Peoples-Jones. They had Devin Bush. Like they had motherfuckers on that team. We just beat their ass. Like, you know what I mean? So like they had people on the team. So like, let's stop this woe is me shit with Michigan. Like they just been this podunk 3-star U program and they're just getting on by. Like, no, motherfuckers. Y'all had a number 5 class of 17 and that correlated to the next year. In 2018, we were supposed to make a playoff, but y'all got your ass whooped. So, okay. So moving forward, I don't think Michigan's whole rise or whatever is one. I'll give them this. They had 2 back-to-back knockout hires on D that knew how to scheme against CJ Stroud. That is the main thing that I've noticed. So those games on him, if you watch the game in 2022, Ryan Day was calling great plays. Like Zach Smith showed it on his all 22. Like motherfuckers is open. They're just confusing the fuck out of CJ. Mentor knew exactly all his tendencies, and they just did that, and CJ didn't do what he did.
So Q, what are some of your thoughts on the transition? I mean, what are some of your thoughts about the losses between the two?
Losses. Yeah, man. I mean, Urban Day did have a knack to lose some games he shouldn't. It always took a freak show, man. It was Rondell Moore or the tight ends from Iowa, and it was like, oh, it was it after that. But I said this a while ago. Even those days' losses aren't necessarily great. He doesn't have a team that just comes out and is just like, we don't even want to play today. Like, F it. Like, when Ohio State loses more recently, they come and they play a ball game at least. They're in the game somewhat, or it looks like, all right, you made a few mistakes down the stretch. But Urban teams, when they used to lose, they just come out in the first quarter like, damn, man, we partied way too long last night and end up getting blown out. So it's a 2 different degree of losses. Obviously, the Michigan loss will weigh in more than I could deal with an Iowa or a Purdue, because it'll happen every now and then. That Michigan loss is just hard, man. And then you think about it for a whole year. So as a fan, I would rather take the Purdue and Iowa losses. But if I'm running the program, yeah, that's almost embarrassing. So it's more like Day's had the better losses, and I feel like the way he's lost has been more reasonable.
Y'all think? I don't know.
But those Michigan losses is heavy, man. It's like, I don't care what you do. Blow a game against Maryland, but just like don't.
Here's that 2019 loss to Clemson, bro. But we were such a better team than them, bro.
I mean, I just feel like if Urban left him somebody other than Master Teague, and we actually had another running back, do you not think that we would have had a better chance of winning that game?
Urban not recruit also J.K. Dobbins. Like, get to say he leave.
Like, bro, J.K. had 150 yards.
He left us nothing. He left us nothing. Okay, you left us J.K. That's it.
Running backs on that roster. It's not. You can't
he left us, bro. Master Teague should have never been at Ohio State, bro. I'm sorry.
They also had Marlon McCall, Jalen Gill. There was like 50 other running backs that were highly recruited on the roster. Just because that team was better than them.
Mario McCall had ball containment issues, so they couldn't put him at running back in the Big Ten.
Man, bowl game.
Ryan, your mic muted.
So Q touched on this when he was discussing the 2 losses, when he was talking about Purdue and Iowa, and then Austin also just put this in the chat. The 2 losses that are probably the most unforgivable in each coach's career, the Purdue and Iowa and both Michigan losses, which do you think are worse, the pair of losses?
I gotta say that the Iowa Purdue.
bro, because they kept
it's inferior opponents, man. It make no freaking sense, bro. Those games make no sense.
Well, if freak show.
If the game was close and we came out with the win, okay. Or if maybe we lost and the games was close. But we didn't just lose, man. We got our ass whooped.
What people get caught up with is the name Purdue and Iowa. But if you actually go back and look at that roster, there is pros all over their records,
bro. But they fucked us up. It wasn't like we just lost.
Okay.
They went out there and beat our ass.
No, because Q's going to
10 first rounders.
Q's going to the part that we should be getting into, because when you're talking about a head coach, right, and you're talking about the reason why Nick Saban has had success, and then the reason why Urban or other coaches didn't, is because of those coaching hires. So you're saying, yes, we had these NFL caliber guys, but who was coaching our freaking linebackers?
Bro, listen,
Billy Davis, who said, "Oh, if they don't get it, they just don't get it." What?
I love
Alex Grinch, who was fighting for a Bryson Shaw to be at Ohio State, thinking that he's Ohio State caliber.
Unforgivable.
Let's talk about Urban and the coaches that he put in place. We want to talk about DBU falling off while we fell off and got a Cam Brown. Talk about Tavier Johnson. Tavier Johnson's so trash, he's coaching at the FCS level right now.
Sheesh. I think Mike just changed the whole conversation there, and I guess we can start comparing stats.
Mike said he's tired of y'all acting like Urban is just this untouchable figure compared to Ryan Day.
Hold on, but this is an experience. Here's the thing. This is an experienced coach. This is an experienced coach who has been on the national scene, that got to call national games and all of this stuff. And then we want to blame a first-time head coach who had to come in or whatever, deal with the transfer portal. Meyer never had to deal with. Had to come in, deal with COVID. Meyer never had to deal with. Had to come in, deal with NIL. Meyer never had to deal with. Come on, man.
Yeah, but what was the worst hire out the bunch? Do you think? What was the worst coaching hire in the last 10 years?
Kerry Combs.
Kerry Combs.
It's not even up for debate. It was by far
he
the
brought
worst.
Kerry Combs and Matt Barnes, who was selling car insurance before he got to Ohio State, to coach the secondary, and you wonder why this secondary fell off a cliff. Literally, I'm gonna
tell you why that's not working. Cam, you muted.
Yeah, Cam, go ahead.
And then you go, and then I'm gonna tell y'all why that's not. Well, till he get his stuff together, I'm gonna tell you why that's not worse. Why I can go with Ryan Day.
All I was saying was before you can go off and then you can talk about this. Y'all are really underplaying the Ed Warner hire in that 2015 season.
No, I was about to. I was about to go. Thank you.
I said in my office that nigga garbage.
Thank you.
No, Ed Warner was he was promoted. That's different.
Promoted? Whatever. He should have been fired. What are you talking about? He should never have been promoted, man. And I can live with what Ryan Day did, because Ryan Day, the only reason that Kerry Combs got 2 years is because of COVID, and he was just like, okay, Kerry wasn't able to be hands-on. We had to learn virtually and all of this stuff. But one thing that I do see from Ryan Day, if he sees some BS, he fixes it. How many? Mike Yurcich only had 1 year at Ohio State, and he was out the door. When Ryan Day sees something that's wrong, he will fix it. Urban knew that Ed Warner was already on the staff, knew this man could not formulate a play call, and still promoted the guy. That's worse.
I think they're both egregious, bro.
Then you hire
Mike.
You hire Greg Schiano, who done coached in the NFL, been your best friend, been in your win, and all of this stuff, and he freaking has the worst defense in Ohio State history.
That was a fluke.
No, that ain't no fluke. You had 2 years of me.
They said Big Head Ed was calling plays.
You had 2 years of me. He made no changes. He saw 2017. Oh, goddamn. Man, our DB's getting cooked out. Oh, man. He literally saw the writing on the wall. Did nothing in 2018. Just let that shit go straight to a nosedive.
Nah. First of all, Greg Schiano as we discussed yesterday, had the best defense maybe we've seen in 10 years. We probably had the best defense.
No,
now, what happened
the
that
secondary?
What happened to that second year? He lost the first rounders and replaced him with Marcus Hooker. So you know how that went. But we talk about Ed Warner having his 2 years. This man doubled down on car insurance Matt Barnes. He promoted car insurance Matt Barnes. And let Kerry do the only thing he came in not knowing how to do. He was like, hey, Kerry, we're going our DBs. We know you produce first rounders and go coordinate the secondary. Second year, you know what, Kerry? You did produce a lot of first rounders. Don't work with anybody. Just coach the defense. His worst attribute, Matt Barnes, they're both terrible. What are we talking about? He doubled down on it. And we talk about Ed Warner?
He didn't double down.
He did double down on it.
Hold on.
Hold on. The whole COVID situation.
You're wrong.
Bro, no, he doubled down on it.
I'm going to tell you how you're wrong because Matt Barnes was actually the special teams coach, right?
No, he worked special teams a little bit under and then helped.
No, he was a special teams coach.
And then
he was working with DBs. The same thing that what's his name?
He's under.
Yeah, the same thing that the dude who's the special teams coach now is doing now, right? Special teams coach and working with DBs. Exactly what he did, right? So, like I said, if it wasn't for COVID, Kerry would have had already lost his job. He came back being the DC. Then, like I said, Ryan Day sees something, he fixed it. Hey, Kerry, I gave you a chance. I gave you this game, and this game, still the same results or whatever. He had to work with what he could do. So, yes, he freaking had Matt Barnes or whatever and everything. Matt Barnes was like, hey, that linebacker over there, he ain't better than Steele, and it's still first year. And what did we say? A little bit of improvement at the linebacker position when Steele got out there, right?
Bro, that's because that man just started calling anything. Matt Barnes.
What did he have? What did they got? It was better. It was better. It was a little bit better than what Kerry was calling. Because Kerry, hold on. One thing I can say about Matt Barnes, he didn't get the same play called on him 4 times in a row like Kerry did. Matt Barnes, that didn't happen in the Oregon game. The same 4 plays.
I was there at the Oregon game, bro. They ran literally high school level.
Yes, bro, that's Kerry. That ain't Matt Barnes.
Fucking
found him. Ryan Day.
Nigga Mike has been cooking for 11 minutes and hit Q with a hold on.
Hey, I need Q to get his facts straight.
Hey, no cap.
Hey, he lied on Matt Barnes.
Hey, no cap. Me and Mike been talking about this shit on the phone for like.
Nah, man.
3 days, bro. He been waiting for this, bro. He been waiting for this shit, bro.
Secondary. That is a fact. Look it up. I know it by my heart. And Kerry Combs.
Bro, I had to go. Hey, I had to go back and look at all of this, bro.
I'm telling you, he worked with special teams under Jeff Hafley. Then he was doing, I think, safeties, and then he was running the whole secondary because he was here 3 years. That is facts. And never coached secondary a day in his life. Man, was that Maryland grabbing what's his name? Coffee.
Deeks and the refs be holding.
All I'm gonna say is one of them became a full-time DC after Ohio State, and the other one didn't. Went back to position coach.
Bro, he's at Memphis. I could coach Memphis defense.
Apparently, hold on. Kerry Combs couldn't even coach Cincinnati's defense.
Bro,
I'm just saying, it's same level. It's same level.
I can coach Memphis.
It's same level.
Cincinnati's in the Big 12 now, bro. Let's show some respect to the Big 12.
They in the Big 12 now, but at the time when Kerry went there, it's same level as Memphis. So one can coach better. Shit.
Yeah, Memphis has some juggernaut defense. They don't give up points or anything. Anybody coach that? Mike, you coach that defense, man.
Fuck out of here. Hey, why they say why they hire? Hold on. Why did Memphis hire Matt Barnes and not Kerry Combs?
For insurance policies, because he knows it from coach.
And Kerry Coombs came from the NFL, so he had an NFL on his resume. And still ain't.
But here's the thing, though, and this is like, and this is what I will say. Kerry had to come in, and Jeff Hafley even spoke about it in one of his interviews when people was asking him what's going on with Ohio State's defense, and he said, "I believe you're asking someone to coach a defense that they've never coached in." which I don't think that was fair to Kerry. And another thing that Ryan Day will have to learn from his mistakes. You don't bring a first-time defensive coordinator in and don't have an experienced co-DC to help him learn.
That's true. But yeah, I know Ron wanted to jump into the questions, so Ron, go ahead and jump into those.
I mean, we only have one right now. It's a good one though. Give me a second.
What is Mike on today? Nah, bro. I'm trying to tell you, I knew this was happening, bro. This nigga Mike was like, bro, I'm ready, bro. Like this shit.
Yeah,
this
Mike,
shit
the people want to know where can they get the coffee that you took this morning?
Nah, bro. Hey, nah. I don't know if people been noticing, but I've been sitting in the spaces. I've been sitting in listeners, not really coming up to speaker as much. I've been hearing all it takes. I've been like, so, I've been like, okay, let me go in my office. I went, pulled out the book, went on the computer, looked up, and I'm like, a Ferrari? We've been talking about with Ryan Day, all the changes and everybody he fired on the defense. Let's not talk. What quarterback did Urban Meyer leave Ryan Day? We ain't even talked about that.
Yeah, 1 year Haskins. And then told Joe Burrow, you know how that went, Mike. You don't know.
Bro, I'm just saying, Urban.
Joe Burrow.
Bro, Urban ain't leave him nothing. Matthew Baldwin was supposed to be our starting quarterback.
No, he left him. What's his name?
Oh, the white Tater.
Yeah,
Tater.
Oh, disrespect. Do not disrespect.
Hey, Tate Martell was driving a Ferrari.
Hey, man, I know exactly what Urban did. Urban went through that. Hey, this is exactly what happened. Urban went through that roster. He said, nah, this ain't about to be it, man. Gene, I'm done. I'm done.
My head. I got a headache.
Hey, Urban said, yeah. Hey, just thinking about the roster he had coming in, he was like, yeah, we ain't doing shit with this.
Hey, hold on. Austin wants to know, do I still have Ryan Day on the hot seat? Because I said in the stadium after we lost that Ryan Day was on the hot seat. Austin, I want to know, after you told us in the spaces of 80 people, are you going to continue to watch the Clemson Tigers football program since y'all lost at home to your rivals, the South Carolina Gamecocks?
Ooh.
I got a question for you. Type that in the chat if you're going to still watch your team.
All right.
I never said that.
Yeah, Ryan Day is not on the hot seat.
We're gonna jump to Elk's question. I know this is a good one. Anyone want to read that one? Q, you want to take that?
Yeah, I got it. Why are UGA fans jizzing in their pants over Jeremiah Smith taking photos at UGA? They are so sure that Jeremiah is flipping to them, and it's a fine deal. Yeah, bro, it's not gonna happen. As long as Jay and Hardline are here, I gotta see it. You gotta show me. But
I think he's locked in. I believe Cam and Mike are on the same page. Any argument there? You think Jeremiah's
who said that? Elks. Listen, there's a media machine behind Georgia right now. So like anybody sneezes on Athens, brushes shoulders with Kirby, they absolutely love Georgia. They're going there, they're flipping, they're going to get a 400-point class. No one's going to be able to withstand the might of the almighty Kirby Smart Georgia Bulldogs, bro. So just buckle up, Elks, bro.
They started, bro.
Just gotta bow down to their mercy, bro. They're the new fucking shit in town, bro.
My whole thing about it, man, is I'm glad these kids are able to take unofficial visits on the show. We talked about what schools we would go to, but now these kids got unlimited visits. I want them to take their visit, but what some people don't know is at Ohio State, when these recruits come, one thing that they do get to see on the wall or see plastered is Ohio State is not for everybody. If you come to Ohio State, we will not apologize for pushing you to be a first-round draft pick.
Also, Mike,
pushing you. Like,
I want to emphasize, watch the media when he goes and visits Penn State. Watch how they don't hype it up. They probably won't even say he's there. Watch.
Think about what Georgia has behind them. They got Disney behind them, bro. Like that's always, bro. Anything and everything Disney pushes, we can see. This is why we even had to go through this topic or whatever, because people only listen to service level ESPN guys. These ESPN guys are the ones who are sitting here saying, oh, Urban left Ryan Day, all of this and all of that. But they didn't look at the nitty gritty. They didn't go into details. And then you got the brainwashed people just going with it.
What else, Smoke? Hey, ESPN just threw Clemson away. They don't even talk about them no more.
I'm not gonna lie. That Georgia facility looked like Disney.
I just got used up and abused. That's it. And they just threw y'all away. They just like.
So, quick question from
2-3 lost seasons. Sheesh.
Quick question from Deke. If CJ has success in the NFL, will that redeem his image with Buckeye fans? I want to jump in with that one first. I think if Buckeye fans still have a negative image of CJ at this point, they need to just go back and watch CJ's career. I mean, he had his ups and downs, but I mean, quarterback play didn't always look like Dwayne Haskins and Justin Fields at Ohio State before those two guys. So, I mean, if you still have second thoughts on CJ Stroud's career at Ohio State, I feel like you need to go back and rewatch CJ Stroud's career at Ohio State.
I mean, I got second questions. I mean, yeah, I felt like it was great. He played at the level he did against Georgia. I just wish he had more consistency. Oh, there, my fault. But yeah, put it again in the chat, Juju. But yeah, I just wish he had more consistency, man. I'm gonna say, man, if only he played like this in the Michigan games, we probably wouldn't have those L's. But
I got Juju's question next. What about you, Mike?
So my thing is the way I feel about CJ Stroud, there's a lot that it's hard for me to put on him, as we spoke of, on, him being in the time where they had to fix the defense and things like that. So, I mean, he was dealt with the cards that he was dealt with. Could he been a little better? Yes. But I think this, if CJ has a great NFL career and we see him playing how he was in the Georgia game, I think it will validate everything that I have been saying about Ryan Day, telling him not to run, telling him to be cautious so that he doesn't get hurt. I honestly believe that, and I think it'll validate that. I think CJ is going to have a great NFL career.
How'd you take a question and back one of your takes?
I think he's trying to ask who wins if Urban Meyer's coaching his 22 team.
Yeah. Is that Michigan?
I guess if they're coaching against each other and they both have the 22 team, who wins? I mean, what staff?
I mean, who's on the staff? That's the first thing. Because
the same staff. I think he just swapped the head coaches. We don't win because who's calling the plays on offense?
Yeah, if Ryan Day's not our head coach, or if Ryan Day's not our offensive coordinator, and Urban Meyer's our
Ryan Day's OC instead of Kevin Wilson. That was
Kevin Wilson calling plays against UJ is not going to hit the same.
Yeah. So. It's not. That's what I'm saying. Ryan Day has to be in that equation. We still lose.
Another question, where's Reggie Powers? I'm not a recruiting insider. I know Cam, he's an insider, but
nah, bro, that's literally my
if you want some recruiting information, you better hit up Chris Drew and Zeke on the corner. So if you could take your recruiting questions over to our guys and tap in with them and support them.
But I will say though, hopefully we get Reggie Powers in the class because it looked like he's going to play linebacker, and he's actually athletic. We ain't got these stiff linebackers walking around. This dude can run sideline to sideline. So
it would be an episode of Buckeye BS.
Hey,
can he play a Darren Lee type role?
Bro, the Darren Lee type role does not exist.
No, we need it.
Just because we need the first round, not me. He just has his whole position at Ohio State. It doesn't
if he can't play like Darren Lee, we don't need him. We don't need him.
Sue, I'd love to answer this.
Might be like he gonna play.
I'm under the impression, Sue, that I don't think that Coach Day coaches tight. Roundtable. Do you guys think that Ryan Day will win a national championship at Ohio State?
Yes. Hey, I want to. Hey, shout out to my cousin. We're going to try to have him on the show. He played football at Ohio University, and he went to Glenville. So we're going to try to get him on the show. But
oh, man, that dude run a 8.600.
Nah, Mike.
Hey, my cousin was on the D-line, man. Hey,
what about you, man?
No, he was actually coached by Joe Burrow's dad, too. So,
nah, that's dope. I think Ryan Day. Man, this has got to be the year, man. But I do think he gets it done, and I think it is this year.
I think Ryan Day gets it done. I mean, if he's given the time to do it, I don't know if it happens this year. I'd love to see it happen this year, but if he can fucking start beating Michigan, he should be able to get a national championship here. But if he keeps losing that game, I don't think he'll be afforded the time to do it.
I think he can win a national championship here at Ohio State. I think that his offense has been killing defenses. Since he's been here. I just feel like once he gets that defensive side of the ball and he ain't got to really truly worry about that. I mean, I think that Ohio State will be one of them scary, scary teams once that defense is figured out and built back up to the acceptable caliber that we're used to seeing at Ohio State.
Yeah. Hey, Mike, Juju has a question. He says, on a scale of 1 to 10, how prepared were you for this debate?
Yeah, I was very prepared, bro.
I told you, bro. We've been talking about this all week.
I've been talking about it. Kind of started like people was really trying to cook me or whatever on Twitter one time in the thread, but I mean, I started, like I said, I was researching. I had these screenshots and all of this, and they takes wasn't hitting, bro. I mean, you got to move the goalposts with me when I come with the facts, man.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. It definitely was not a Ferrari. It was probably one of those commercials where they'd be like, "Hey, that's a nice car. What is this? That's a Buick. Oh wow, this is a Buick." Y'all remember the commercial?
Yeah, he had my granddad's old school Buick down in Alabama is what Urban Meyer gave him.
One thing I want to say before we get out about that is year 5, Ryan Day, he's finally taking the CEO role, so I'm excited to see how our team is going to operate with him, basically learning from coaches before him, and hashtag SNS, man. Go ahead, Ron. Take us home.
You can find me at 2_TEES on Twitter. You can find me at 2Shiesty on TikTok, 2T's on Twitch. Pull up on the playback. We had the Best Damn Media Fight Night hosted by Chris Drew. Appreciate Chris pulling up and hosting that. That was a cool event as a lead up to the Lomo Haney fight. That was last night too. So we appreciate you pulling up for Buckeye BS. You guys got anything else before we head on out of here?
Oh, yeah. You got to tell everybody where we can find y'all. Go ahead, Cam.
Man, you can find me on Twitter. I know things 19. Seldomly we run the Best Damn Spaces. We've been busy lately, but we're going to try to get back on that on Twitter as well. That's pretty much where you can find me online.
Mike?
Make sure you hit the like button. Smash that like button for us, everybody, and subscribe.
We need at least 20 likes before we wrap this thing up.
I need that. And you can find me on Twitter or Instagram at 216_wildboy. Come hit me up, like Cam said. We're gonna be starting the Twitter Spaces back up, but you can find me on the TL, or I'll be in the listeners listening to y'all hot takes. And
we'd much appreciated if everybody in the chat would send a like and then get 3 other people to send a like as well. That would be huge for our channel. So we'd appreciate that.
That's 3 hefty. Yeah, give me 2, and I'll give them a break this Sunday. Just give me 2, and I'll be satisfied.
Where can they find you at, Q?
Well, if you want to find me, when I'm not at church, Saturday night, because I come to this show right after. Be prepared. You can find me on City Boy Quentin on Twitter. I'm up there. Just hit me. I'm Flyknit Johnson on Instagram. And then if you do mess with movies, I see Gary asking if I seen Fast 10. I did. My review is up. It's Minor League Films on pretty much all social media. If you like movies, go ahead, tap in. Ron, get us out of here.
We appreciate you guys pulling up for Buckeye BS every Sunday at 10 Eastern. Thank you for pulling up, and I hope to see y'all next week at 10. Thank you.
It'd be cool if they lost to Indiana.